but can the first thing that you do, can it be stop lying? When you hear somebody say something heinous, can you stand up? Can you say, actually, I'm not going to smile and nod. I'm going to say what I believe. First, we overlook evil. Then we permit evil. Then we legalize evil. Then we promote evil. Then we celebrate evil. And then we persecute those who still call it evil. Hey guys, welcome back to Answer the Call. I have Audrey here back from vacation with me, and today we really have some more serious things to address. Audrey, you and I had a different topic planned. It was along the lines of calling, but it really felt like the Lord was taking things in a different direction when we were talking extensively more about what the Spirit had on our hearts today, particularly with the date of our recording being September 11th. So 9/11 is something that I think must be remembered, as well as the compounding effect of Charlie Kirk's assassination yesterday and the many other violent events that you and I both have somewhat of a personal tie to, with the murder of the young woman in Charlotte, as well as the children that were killed during Mass in Minnesota. And all of this has, and on a much stranger and more ratchet note, even this morning, I just driving to my coworker, Audrey's like, oh no, she is not about to say this. But it's so crazy. And I just texted my family and I was like, yeah, this is where we're at right now. I was just at a stoplight next to my co-working space with my window rolled down, just minding my business and getting some fresh air. And a man yelled at me, F you, white B. And I'm just existing. And that has brought you and I, Audrey, to a place where, as we were reflecting on Charlie Kirk's life, which regardless of political affiliation, I am glad to tell you that this is not a political podcast. We serve all Christians that seek to discern their occupational calling and align their career with that. Launch a career, whether that's a business or a regular job that's aligned with it. We're here to serve you. We're not counting out whatever you believe personally and politically. But regardless of what you believe about Charlie Kirk, this is a murder that happened as a result of a culture that believes that if you exercise your free speech to share something I disagree with, you deserve to die. You deserve to die. And many people, unfortunately, fortunately, many people are seeing this as a rallying cry to wake up. Others are agreeing with this old ideology that he did deserve to die. But we have a few verses that I believe tie in this moment with a lesson of what does this mean for our lives and our careers, without trying to be overly dramatic. I do, however, believe that this is a godly moment where these events mean something and these deaths are not in vain to the average person with a corporate job. They do have the ability to mean something to the stay-at-home parent. And they do mean something to us as career coaches. So first a quote, then a verse, and then I'd like to also invite Audrey, you're going to share some reasons why you also thought that we should bring this up today. But this quote is by, I guess, Friar? What is FR? I don't know. Friar Dwight Longenecker?
I think it's father. FR is for father.
Sorry, you were Catholic and I have never been Catholic, so thank you so much for leading us in that. So it says, first we overlook evil. Then we permit evil. Then we legalize evil. Then we promote evil. Then we celebrate evil. and then we persecute those who still call it evil. So, Audrey, would you mind sharing your thoughts about why we're bringing this up, a potentially like quite sensitive topic?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, you said it earlier, like this is not a political podcast. Thank goodness. Um,
Not us, no.
but with the Charlie Kirk assassination, it's brought up political things. It's brought up just the state of humanity. But for me, really, I was feeling so much spiritually, where just on a personal note, my YouTube loves to give me Charlie Kirk content. And I
Like the
enjoy watching
surrounded
it.
debates.
The surrounded debates. I mean, I have just gotten so much of his content recently, like in the past 7 days, which just, I mean, makes me feel weird. Very, very
Yeah.
weird about him now being assassinated, killed. But every time that I see one of his videos, man, he's walking his calling. That is my first thought. There is a certain kind of person who can do what he has been doing for years. That's certainly not me. Nobody I know could do what he does or what he did. And it is really incredible and has always ignited in me that idea, that just belief he's walking in his calling. And I thought that I was on fire for people walking in their calling before hearing this news, before this event. I'm no, like that was child's play. Because I'm
The
just
old
having these
Audrey is
thoughts.
dead.
The old Audrey is dead. I am having these thoughts of like, how dare we not walk in our calling? How dare we sit just wishing? I wish God would show me what I want. And I don't mean to minimize like those thoughts and those wishes because they're real, but people get stuck in them very
Yeah, it's like,
quickly.
get up and help. There is work to do.
Yeah.
There is work to be done. There is a kingdom to be built and an earth to be
Mhm.
redeemed. And so, whether you are the person that is the perfect customer success manager, or I don't want to say perfect, is a passionate, like talented, like aligned client success manager, or you do want to be in, like, there's people that listen to this that want to be in work like we do, which is we are operating under the calling that I received from God in 2018, which is to deploy God's soldiers. It was actually like very specific militaristic language, which was funny and amazing from the Lord. But he said, deploy my soldiers to the stations in society where they are meant to serve.
Mhm.
Are you meant to do that, like through recruiting? Are you meant to create, as a part of creating and furthering what is good, beautiful, and true? Are you meant to add more beauty to the world by being the most redemptive florist for weddings?
Wow.
Are you meant to triple down on the your efforts if you feel called to the homeschooling of your children? Are you meant to be someone that focuses on the redemption of the body and the upholding of our temple through helping people with their physical health? Then do that with all of your heart as unto the Lord.
Mhm.
Isn't that Colossians 3:23? And
Mhm.
further, on the note of evil, which is, I think, a theme in what we want to call out today, is like the earth is evil and the prince of the power of the air is active. And that kind of caught my mind back to Ephesians 5. Ephesians chapter 5, starting in verse 15. It says, be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is. Do not get drunk on wine, which leads to debauchery. Instead, be filled with the Spirit, speaking to one another with psalms, hymns, and songs from the Spirit, Sing and make music from your heart to the Lord, always giving thanks to God the Father for everything in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Make the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. Are you making the most of your opportunities? Knowing paradoxically that the Lord allows us to go out from a place of security and rest. So get your peace and security and identity from God, knowing that you do not actually, paradoxically, need to serve Him. We get to serve Him.
Mm-hmm.
We, Acts 17, verses 24 through 28, that's always my reference verse as like a foundation to calling, is realizing that God is hoping you will accept the invitation, but realize that that invitation is much, it's firmly secondary to your first calling, which is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, strength, and spirit. I think I always add in extra words in there, but I think that is like pretty much the verse. And then you could return to your first calling, which we see in Genesis chapter 1, as in like chronologically first, what we were intended for before the fall. Ruined so much. Which is be fruitful and multiply, rule and subdue the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Rule and subdue the earth, be fruitful and multiply. Don't forget those things. And I'm
And
also not saying like be a justice warrior that says, therefore I need to work so hard that I forsake my family. He actually said be fruitful and multiply and then rule and subdue the earth. Don't forget that.
Mm-hmm. And do something today.
Today.
Today. This is me getting fired up. Your calling doesn't need to be this thing that is revealed miraculously. Like what you have, Kelsey, is so special. Like deploy God's soldiers to the station society they're meant to serve in. And I believe a lot of people can get that, through lots of prayer, through lots of discipline. You don't have to have it today to do something. You know part of your calling. I think every single person, if you are existing on this earth, you know a piece of your calling. Because Kelsey, you and I were even talking earlier this week about you have better clarification on like calling and desire than I do, which is totally natural, I think. And I love that conversation. I'm like, oh, I have some more stuff to clarify about my like long-term desires. Cool. And I know that right now what I'm called to do is to help people experience breakthrough through deep conversation.
Yes.
That is something that I can do right now by texting a friend and asking how they are and genuinely checking in with people. I don't have that long-term clarity necessarily as defined, and I may never, and whatever, that's fine. I believe that I will. I can still do something today that is
That
within my
hasn't
calling.
stopped you. I feel like, would say you have a more felt level of meaning in your career than most. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of it has just been, I got busy. I raised my
Yeah.
hand. I put myself in new rooms. Like, that's how I got to meet you. And that's how I said, everything that you're saying sounds like what I've been praying for. Please help.
Mm-hmm.
And so all types of archetypes exist. Please do not use my
Mm-hmm.
story as a stumbling block, because I do believe many callings are actually silent.
Mm-hmm.
And that, what I mean by that is more of the archetype of Matthew 25, verses 14 through 30, which is the parable of the talents. And in that, the master who represents God in the parable gave the servants no instructions.
Mm-hmm.
Rather, he only said, I'm going on a trip. Here's my wealth. I'll be back. And we find out that actually the master expected them to get to work and multiply, like use their intelligence and their creative ideas and their time to just get busy, to do what they could to honor their master and do something that was fruitful and multiplying.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that was afraid and did therefore nothing crushed it at keeping what he had safe, failed utterly and missed the point in being fruitful and multiplying and
Mhm.
being proactive, knowing that actually, if we go back to Ephesians 5 in verse 17, therefore do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is. What is the Lord's will? Actually, the Lord's will is explicitly mentioned throughout the Bible. This is his revealed will.
Mhm.
His hidden will is often the like, who exactly should I marry? What exact job title should I have? That is not always your business to know. It is your business to trust as it unfolds.
Mhm.
He, like, trust the story, whatever it is that he has for you. But his revealed will, that I don't think gets enough airtime, is not something that we need to be confused about. His revealed will is basically the entire Bible, which is largely, wait, do you have it written down?
I have known will of God up on my wall every day. Love God, love people, have kindness, humility, and justice, serve others, walk in holiness, forgive, pursue sanctification, and be slow to anger.
100%. If I had to boil that down to two things, love God, I mean, and Jesus himself boiled it
Mhm.
down to love your neighbor as yourself. But I would say, like, I would quote the verse of Jesus saying, be holy as I am holy.
Mm. Mhm.
And holiness is underrated these days. And so
That again.
I really hope through this brief encouragement to just commission people to act. If you find it a little complicated to take this episode and make it mean I need to change my career now, don't worry, you don't necessarily have to do that. But can the first thing that you do, can it be stop lying? When
Mm.
you hear somebody say something heinous, can you stand up? Can you say, actually, I'm not going to smile and nod. I'm going to say what I believe? Stop lying by omission. I do this all the time, actually, and in a place that has very different beliefs than I hold. Like, I live in a city that's like, um, it's going down a path. It's interesting. And I think I just feel really, I have felt this for quite some time, but I feel renewed in the calling to not lie. And I think that this ties in with the last verse that you wanted to say, Audrey, in Revelation. Dun, dun, dun.
Yes. Revelation 12:11. This is NIV. They triumphed over him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. They did not love their lives so much as to shrink from death.
Whoa, dog.
Yeah.
Wait, that's so crazy. That's so crazy because I only just now realized this week that as I've been trying to discern a lot of big stuff, um, and constantly I'm fighting in decision making a value for, should I just purely do what I want and feels good? Or like, how do you balance natural inclinations with a logical, sacrificial mindset of like, okay, I need to fight back worldliness. Um, and through all of that, I remembered something that I frequently think about, which is my grandfather, Gerald G. Kemp. Love you, Papa. He's in heaven. He was a colonel in the Marines, and he led over 200 missions as a fighter pilot. And he, in one of those, was uh, gunned nearly down. It was supposed to be gunned down, but as a miracle, his plane was saved, and he basically crashed on the landing strip just in time and made it back to the base. But as he was leading his whole squad, sorry, I'm not in the military, so I don't know exactly what it's called, but
Squadron, I
he was
think?
leading his squad, and as they realized they were about to fly directly over an active enemy fire, it turns out the enemy was prepared. Um, he- uh, Someone on his team radioed and said, we're about to go over fire. What should we do? And my grandfather said, complete your assignment.
Mm.
Complete your assignment. And
Mm.
I just have felt that so much through the Lord. And I do think that that's one of the reasons that he speaks to me in my family military like language.
Wow.
Like, I do believe that's one of the reasons, like in my heritage and our lineage of faith, is why he said, like, deploy my soldiers. And I knew that was him and it wasn't me. He's also spoken to my mother that way.
Wow.
Um, and my father too, largely. It's kind of just like a family rallying cry of like, complete the mission, complete your assignment.
Mm.
And they did that because they were not so, can you quote that verse again? They were not so afraid to lose their own lives.
They did not love their lives so much as to shrink from death.
Those are the stories worth telling, and the people that I think are really worth remembering on a day like this, particularly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That the Lord has given us assignments to, no matter your particular station, exert truth and goodness and not evil.
Mm-hmm.
And evil expands with avoidance and shrinks back with attack.
Mm.
So, be like, I think just that. Another quote coming to mind is was it Francis of Assisi? It's like, truth is like a lion. All you have to do is let it out, and it'll defend itself.
Wow.
I think that some of us are so afraid to live in our truth of being brothers and sisters in Christ who believe in the dignity of man, who believe in an all-sufficient, all-powerful, loving God who loves holiness and hates evil. He hates sin so much. I think we're afraid to defend it because we don't trust that God defends himself. As we participate in exerting truth in culture and in our lives, it's like we're afraid that we're going to have to defend ourselves, but God defends you.
Mm-hmm.
And he also defends his truth. His word does not come back void, so speak it. It says at the beginning of Revelation, like, blessed are those who read aloud these words. That's what we're trying to do in this podcast right now,
Mm-hmm.
is read aloud these words and not shrink back from saying all the things that are happening right now in culture are absurd and evil and are only a natural result of a pipeline that started with accepting evil, legalizing it, and ultimately persecuting those who still dare to call it evil. I'm not saying Charlie Kirk is like the only person to listen to or had everything right, but he is an example of a person that believed something and decided to defend it, including the dignity of those he disagreed with.
Mm-hmm.
He he operated in all of his professional conversations and activism in good faith arguments, defending the dignity of the person he was talking to. And now we remember his life as someone did not extend that same dignity to him. And so I wanted to honor that as a part of also remembering 9/11. And I hope that people are shocked into a wake-up call of no longer accepting events like this.
Mm. Amen. See to it that you complete the task assigned to you from the Lord. That's at the end of Colossians.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that is.
Whatever that is. And if that, you had mentioned a florist earlier. I don't know why that stuck out to me.
Yeah, it seemed like you really lit up.
Yeah, I was like, wait, that sounds awesome. If you're sitting there and that's your calling and you're like, I can't do that today, as I'm giving you the rallying cry of do something today. Yes, you can. Design something on Canva. Design something on Canva. Send it to a friend. Like, sorry, they're not real flowers, but I wanted to give you something pretty. Like,
Wait, that's so cute.
do something. Defend truth. Your days are numbered.
Your
So
days
get
are
out there.
numbered. Lord, let us teach us to count our days so we may grow a heart of wisdom. I think it's like the verse in Psalm. So that was a really weak quote, hopefully for a strong ending. I will look forward to seeing all y'all next week. I hope that you know that we are saying all of this in love.
Mm-hmm.
And I will respect it if anyone, I guess, is angry that we're speaking out in this way, because you have a right to free speech. So there we go. I'm going to cover you with
Amen.
kindness. All right. Well, thanks, Audrey, so much
Thanks,
for
Kelsey.
just flowing with the Spirit today.
Same to you.
Adios. Thanks for listening to today's episode. To get an even more meaningful head start into your calling, head to thecalledcareer.com, where my fellow career coach Audrey and I have created a whole suite of free resources and tools to help you get clear and get a job today. For those who are definitely ready to land a job or start a business in the next 6 to 12 months, we're here to help you biblically and practically discern your calling through coaching, reflection, and deep market research. Identify the job that's aligned with it, even if you currently have no idea what you want. Rebrand your resume and LinkedIn to translate your background to appeal to your future boss. P.S. We take this off your plate and do this for you. Also, we'll teach you how to land referrals and get attention from leadership through networking. Again, if that makes you nervous, we have these emails and LinkedIn messages literally written for you so you don't have to sweat. We're also here to give you unlimited interview practice so you're prepared to address every elephant in the room and knock selling yourself out of the park. Then we'll round out with helping you negotiate your salary so you land thousands more. Just so you know, recent clients have gotten $8,000 to $50,000 salary increases, even though they were totally non-traditional candidates. That's because we specialize in helping non-traditional career pivoters land jobs they're ecstatic to serve in. It takes work, but we're here to see you through until the end, when we're celebrating that day that you send me an email in all caps and you say, Kelsey, I got the job. Then you could be on the podcast. But I'll be here until then, keeping you accountable and encouraged by meeting with you literally until you land the job you want, even if that's up to 6 months from now within our program. Apply to join at thecalledcareer.com, and I'll see you next week here at Answer the Call. Bye for now.